Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds where I've collected together all the different things that I've purchased over the past week. I'm going to present it to you, give you a little bit of background on it. Of course, I get it from different places, online retail like Amazon, eBay, and more. Also, bands' websites. I get stuff from my local record store. So I got a little bit of everything here from all different places, and we'll get to it in just a bit. But before we start, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also, leave a comment, hit like. All those things help support my channel. I greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by turning on notifications, you're going to stay up to date on everything going on in the world of music. Just like this, with New Music Finds, where I'm running through all different kinds of stuff. New releases, old stuff, vinyl, box set, CDs, you name it. I got a little bit of it all here for you guys. So let's dive into it. And I got some new stuff right off the bat. Now, this is one that actually came out a month ago. I think it was August 16th. It's the new Riley's LA Guns album, The Dark Horse. Back ordered forever across Amazon, through my local record store. I finally got a copy of it. This one's kind of got an interesting history on it. Digitally, it came out on January 22nd, which is what would have been Steve Riley's 68th birthday. Unfortunately, passed away in October of 2023. The record label started selling it on their website back in April, but the shipping on it cost more than the album itself. And so the album would have been $30+ or so to ship. I hated that. So I decided to wait for a copy until August. And then it was back ordered, so just got it this past week, essentially on September 13th, a whole full month later. But glad to get it in, and I have done a full review of this. I'm really enjoying this album. I know it is not the Phil Lewis, Tracy Guns version of the band, but I like this version of the band. They've got 3 guys in it that are former LA Guns members, continuing on, and I definitely would recommend checking it out, but you can go watch the full review if you're interested. Okay, here's another one that came out a while back. I don't remember what the date was that it came out. U2 and U2 Zoo TV Live in Dublin 1993 EP. So the reason at least that this one took a while for me to get a hold of is actually this is a Japanese edition. And I chose to pick this one up because it had one additional song on it. So the domestic version of this had 5 live tracks on it. Zoo Station, Mysterious Ways, Trying to Throw Your Arms Around the World, Stay, Far Away So Close, that's actually one song. Love is Blindness. And the Japanese edition added one more song to it, The Fly. And so I'm actually really glad that they added that to it because Love is Blindness is a slow, mellow, ballady sort of song, which is not the way I would want to end a live album. So adding on The Fly, a fantastic track that I think is highly underrated by, for the band. Was glad that it was on here. Did I want to pay $10 more to get that one extra song? No, but the fact that it is 6 live tracks made it just that much more for me, worth listening to. And I love the recording of this. It sounds great. Yeah, all in all, I'm glad I got a hold of this. But like I said, it's a Japanese edition because it added the one more track to it. Okay, here's one that during the What Just Dropped episode, I said I had chosen not to pick up, and I'm going to have to eat my words now because I did buy the new Stryper When We Were Kings album. So, of course, it's exactly what I said, which is I would give it a listen. I would check it out. And I was at Sound Exchange. I'm standing there. The album's right in front of me. It was $13.98, so very good price. And I'm listening to it, and just one track after the other, the first 5 tracks on here all sounded really good to me. It leans much more in the hard rock vein than some of the straight up metal stuff that they had been doing on previous albums that sort of was not my cup of tea. They had done an album that had very heavy sounding vocals on it that I did not like at all. Tied to the Cross was the song. So I was glad none of that's on here. This all sounds great. And I ended up picking it up, so have to eat my words. I have done a full review. That's how much I like this album. I do not review albums that I don't like. And so I reviewed this. There's a full review and unboxing up for you guys if you want to check that out. That's also available where I go into much, much more detail about that album. All right. One that I did pick up and was so happy to get a hold of, Satan, Songs in Crimson. This is a new wave of British heavy metal band. They are still the same 5 guys together. They formed, I want to say 1983, at least that I believe was their debut album. Still doing it, really, really sounding good in my opinion. I like this band better today. I don't know if this is the 4th or 5th album since reuniting a number of years back, but really, really liking this one. And I actually like this one a lot more than their previous album, which I felt was a letdown. The 3 or so before that were absolutely stellar albums. This one is back to being that, in my opinion. I just thought this was cool album art too. Released on Metal Blade Records. And then 2 of them that I had on order, but were shipping a little late. Finally got a hold of these things. So Victory, Circle of Life. This one here featuring Herman Frank, who is a former guitar player for Accept. This is his band. He didn't actually start with Victory. I don't remember if he came in on the 2nd or 3rd album, where along the way, but he came in a little bit later. Now, he's the only guy left in the band. Everyone else is new. So technically no original members, but the band is known for Herman Frank. Anyways, he really gave them a name at a certain point, some cachet coming in from Accept. So I at least am the one who or someone who associates him with the band, so I'm okay with that at least. But this turned out to be a great album. This is very much in the hard rock vein, like the stuff that they did from the 80s and very early 90s. They'd gotten into some of the more metal sounding stuff over the years, but this one here is fantastic. I'm absolutely loving this, so would highly recommend checking that out. And then one that was sort of the way I felt about the Stryper, but I decided I'd pick it up no matter what. I had not really been into the last so many releases by this band. Flotsam and Jetsam, I Am the Weapon, their brand new album. Their last so many albums were good, but just didn't stick with me. They aren't albums I go back to all that often. I know I did a review, I think, of the last album and I liked it, but it's just one of those things that's kind of in one ear, out the other, and didn't stick with me. And I have to say that at least so far, this album is speaking to me a lot more than their last few albums. So I don't know if I'm just maybe more in the metal mood for it, and that is why it's working, or what, but I am liking this album a lot. I will say it does help when a particular release day drops 4 or 5, metal albums from great bands, and thereby all the stuff I'm listening to is in that metal vein. My mind is definitely geared for that, and sometimes if a band drops their album on a day when the other stuff that I'm picking up is nothing like that, it may be harder for me to switch gears and enjoy it as much as maybe I would normally. So I do acknowledge that, and that's why I don't really worry about it too much. I purchase the albums if I'm a fan of the band. If it doesn't really click with me, it's okay. It goes on the wall. I'll come back to it at some point. I'm glad I've got those other albums from Flotsam and Jetsam and from Stryper for that matter. I've already pulled out those previous 4 albums that I didn't really think hit me very well, and I'm re-exploring those, and again, glad to have them in the collection to be able to do it. And I'll probably be doing the same with those Flotsam and Jetsam albums. But all in all, great album, and I do recommend that as well. Now, the big thing for me this past week, beyond finally getting that LA Guns album that I had been wanting, was the fact that my Neil Young Archives Volume 3 box showed up. And I'd been waiting on this. Unfortunately, this did not arrive on September 6th. The last box set that I ordered from the website, Volume 2, actually showed up a week or so in advance, whereas this one here, I had to reach out to them and ask them, hey, why haven't I heard anything about it? The box set is dropped. I can order it from Amazon. Why haven't I gotten it from the website yet? And I didn't get any response from them, but a day later, I saw that it had shipped. So all in all, very good, and I finally got it. And this is one of those ones that opens this way. It's magnetic in the center, which is kind of cool. And then you open up the middle things and you get all of the releases like that, which is in 11 soft packs, but features a total of 17 CDs overall, or maybe it's 13 soft packs, I can't remember, but I know it's not 17 individual ones. They pair some of them up because they're volume 1, volume 2, or like with one of the particular releases that's around the album Trans, the 2 sessions that make up that album, they put together on one album. You now get to hear the whole thing from which he cherry picked from to make the overall album itself. So this turned out to be really great because there are 3 unreleased albums in this that are seeing the light of day for the first time through the box set. And I will admit, I hadn't done a whole lot of research on this prior to getting it. It was more a matter of I knew 17 CDs were coming out, and it spans from 1976 to 1987, which is one of my favorite eras within the band. And that was enough for me to go ahead and order it. But after getting it and diving into it, there is so much more that I found out to love about it. I have done a full unboxing of this. And again, if you want to check that out, that is on my channel and you can do that as well. As far as all of these things that I've done other bigger, larger reviews on, I will leave links in the description of this particular video for your ease. You can go check that out. All right, so over the last couple of weeks, at least the last 2 weeks or so, I've been exploring many more newer bands that have that classic sound of bands that I grew up with. And so one of the bands that I reached out and checked out on, or were selling things through Amazon was, or it's not Amazon, eBay, Thundermother. So I got 2 more albums from them that are out of print. Couldn't get them through, say, Amazon, but was able to get them on eBay through the record label, no less, at $13.99 a piece, free shipping coming all the way. I think the band is from Sweden, wherever they're located. It was shipping from there and coming to me. And it actually came relatively quick. They mentioned 3 weeks of time, and I think it was only about 1 week, and they got to me. So very glad to get these 2 albums and have some more stuff from the band Thundermother as I've been exploring them more. I think I am only missing 1 of their albums now, which I hope to track down and get eventually. One of the bands that, again, picked some stuff up from the past week was the group Night Demon. And I believe this was the only release that I was missing from them. I think it's their first full-length release, Curse of the Damned, got a re-release, and that is why I was able to finally get a hold of it. This getting a reissue 2024 release. The debut EP, same way, which had some bonus tracks on it. The copy I picked up being an original copy, and I was much happier to have that because I didn't really care for the couple extra tracks that were on it. But all in all, very glad to get a hold of this and have that. They sound like the new wave of British heavy metal. If you like that sound, but you want a newer band that still has that same sound to it, Night Demon is a very cool band doing that. All right, some melodic rock, AOR, the band Heat. This was their, I believe, second album called Freedom Rock. It is the 2023 remix edition that adds on 2 bonus tracks to it. So I've been picking these up. At some point, I'd like to get the original versions as well to hear those, but definitely loving what I am getting with those. It's not the ones with Eric Gronwall. He joined after the second album, I believe 3rd album going forward for 4 albums or so, before the original guy came back when he left to join Skid Row. At some point, I would like to dive into those albums and get the Eric Gronwall ones because I liked his vocals with Skid Row. All right, and then one that don't really know anything about, and I showed you guys this album last time, La Chinga, and this is Primal Forces, and I absolutely loved this album. It's a 2023 release, so I went back and I got, I think, their second album, Freewheelin', and this one here is 2016, but the funny thing is, they don't sound anything like what they do on here on this one. This one here is like more like, I don't even know, kind of like a southern rock sort of sounding stuff versus more like AC/DC rock. So I really, really liked this. It's the same three guys, but I guess they just, developed and changed their sound over the next 7 years to get to this. But all in all, there's another album, one more album somewhere in the middle, I think, and I'm going to pick that up just to see. But it's not that I disliked it, but I was a bit bummed out that it didn't sound like this. So, yeah, but still glad I got it. Had to order that one from eBay. Stuff's not available. It's hard to come by. All right, and the last two things I picked up are these T-Rex albums. So the artist, band, however you want to think about it, has been doing these box sets by year. And, they started in 70 and they are up to, I think, only 73, maybe 74, could be wrong. And I had found one of these. So I picked this one up a while back, 1972, double LP release. And it's got all tracks from that year that were recorded, Jeepster, Telegram Sam, Cosmic Lover, stuff like that. But it's got different versions of it, whether recorded live or for radio sessions or particular studio version or some outtakes or stuff like that. So it's all the bonus stuff that are on those box sets paired together as an album itself. And I didn't know there were more of those out there. I thought it was just something they did for that particular release. And then I found out, no, they've actually been doing it for all of their releases. So I went ahead and picked up the ones that I could still order from 71 and 73. 73 is a single LP version, and 71 is a double LP version of stuff here. But these are vinyl only albums. You can't get them as CD. If you buy the box sets, of course, you're getting it that way on CD, but not these standalone editions. And I would love if eventually when they get done, they would do a little combined box set version on CD the way Fleetwood Mac has done. And some of these other labels, Motorhead has done, they've done these vinyl only releases. And then after 5 or 6, 7 of these things, they collect them together in a box set for a CD release. Maybe we'll get that, maybe we won't, who knows. In the meantime, I'm picking up the LP versions of these things in order to make sure and guarantee that I've got them in the collection. But there you go, guys. That is what I picked up this past week. Hopefully you enjoyed hearing about it, seeing this stuff, learning about some of these things. Again, there's further bigger reviews of some of this stuff. I'm going to leave a link in the description on it. Let me know what you guys picked up over the past week, what you've been enjoying, and we'll have a great little conversation about all of that. All right, everyone, take care, have a good one, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.